So, hi, Michael, Tyler here. I thought I'd go ahead and just shoot this over the shoulder video to kind of go over your submission form and look at some options that are out there, maybe analyze the competition a little bit, and maybe give some thoughts on maybe the best approach moving forward. This is just going to be a quick video. I'm going to try not to let it run on too long. These tend to go a little bit longer than I like, but maybe in future calls we can discuss more of the nuts and bolts of strategy and whatnot. So thanks again for the detailed submission form. I know I'm getting this out to you quite late. I just had quite a few personal projects on the go, but I understand this isn't a super time sensitive project for you, but I'm glad that I'm getting this out to you now. So thanks again for all the detail in your submission form. This really helps a lot. Just letting me kind of look this over quickly before we get on a call. It's much easier, and that way I have a bit of that background information to go with. So basically, I think I have a pretty good understanding of your business model and sort of what you want to achieve. So basically, right off the bat, you want a website which can help focus on finding some more private investors. So my understanding is that you offer mortgages privately, but then you also want to bring on investors to invest in those mortgages. So rather than someone going and get a mortgage through a bank, they can get it through a private investor. So you want to get those private investors, and then you earn a commission fee or whatnot. So I believe that's my understanding, and obviously you can correct me when we get on a call. So at the moment, you do have an affiliation with Dominion Lending Centers. Now, my impression is that we're going to build, or potentially you want to create a website that's totally separate from Dominion Lending Centers. So it's your own sort of website, and you funnel potential investors through that website, and then you can work with your established business that you're a franchisee of. I believe that's exactly sort of what you're looking for. You can certainly correct me if I'm a bit off there, but you did supply this website, dlcbedrock.com, which isn't up and running, but I am assuming that you're going to want to build a separate brand new site to attract these potential investors. So that's what your goal is, and your short-term goal is to build this website, attract these potential investors, and then maybe long-term, pivot away into different aspects of lending and investing. So in terms of website setup, there's really two ways, or two main things that we need to focus on with setting up these websites that are going to be successful. Obviously, first we want to set up the actual site, get it hosted, pick a domain name that's really going to be targeted to your specific service, and that's going to be important, something that we can discuss later. And then you want to set up the design and feel that it goes in line with exactly what you're selling and what services you're providing. And then on the other side is basically optimizing it and making it rank in Google. So when people plug in various terms and services associated with what you offer, you want them to find your website. That's really the most important thing. So in terms of setup and design, I'm going to just quickly run through a few examples here. I typically use a few different themes. So these are themes that are set up, and they give you sort of the basic nuts and bolts, and then you have to go in and code it differently and change it and sort of customize it for your specific business, so to speak. So this Avada theme is one that I use regularly. They've got a lot of different sort of templates, and then you go in and basically customize it for yourself. So they've got a creative template. So basically the number one thing here is that these are very easy to navigate and read, and they're all mobile friendly. So if you're on a cell phone, a tablet, or your desktop, you can certainly use these websites very well. There is a forums type of one, so it's a bit more technical, and basically navigating it is quite easy. Everything's nicely laid out. There's an agency one, which is pretty cool. And I will supply all the links below so you can go and sort of check these out. This was their law one. So basically we'd be able to set this up with your logo, whether it's, Mortgage Capital Ontario or whatever, the website name is going to be. And then all this is just tailored towards your services. So it's very easy to go in and set these up, tailor it towards your business. And then, like you mentioned in your submission form, just have the site provide some basic details and then lead people to that call to action, whether it's to fill out a form really specifically or submit their email somewhere or just make a call and book a consultation. So in terms of setup, when I say easy, we can definitely get it done. It takes a bit of time, but that's really one half of the equation to a successful web business. The other side is really promoting it properly and getting people to find it. So what my initial step is always going to be getting that look and feel set up. We've done that, that we can set that up. That's very doable. Next, we want to really see what is out there right now in terms of competition and what's ranking, and we can get a gist of the difficulty in, getting some people to find the website through Google. So a lot of this changes based on different niches and services. Sometimes, competition is very intense. So like the insurance business and, even investing in general, you're going to get really big websites that basically cover the first page, and it's really hard to penetrate for some big terms. So my initial thought was, when plugging some of these terms in, private mortgage investments, you're going to see a lot of ads at the beginning, and basically scrolling down, this is the organic section here. So capitaldirect.ca, right away, that sort of sounds like that could be a tough competition. But then we see things like Son of a Broker. So that's more of a content kind of site right off the bat. You've got KV Capital, which could be a big player. And then you got Mortgage Truth, which, initially I was thinking it could be content. It could be a big service company. The other ones, Private Mortgage Investments Toronto. So again, we see Capital Direct. We see Mortgage Truth again. And then we see some other ones, northernrange.ca and Son of a Broker's there again. And then one other search term, mortgage lending. We've got, I think, Tridac Mortgages. We got Rate Hub. So Rate Hub is a big website. We've got Kijiji, and then we've got Benson Mortgages. So just initially, my first thoughts were that these are going to be a bit difficult to compete against. But I was actually surprised when we look into the back end. They might not be that hard, which is a good sign. But basically, here we can just see KV Capital. So their homepage, they've got their financing solutions, investment options. If you go to the investment, they provide some of these basic information. Not really a good looking site. Certainly something you can definitely outdo in terms of overall design. And then you got Mortgage Truth. So they have a lot of good content, and I'll get to this in moving on. But you can see here for their, they offer some good question and answers about investing in mortgages or mortgage, investing with various types of mortgages. And then you've got, your nice fill in the form and contact Michael. So similar to what we would probably want to do, provide some good value and then get that contact form filled out. And they offer some good information about mortgage investments. Moving on to Private Mortgage Investments Toronto. So this is a bigger website, Capital Direct, and it looks like they funnel people to this type of website too, Income Trust Stone. So my understanding is that this is sort of what you would want to build, something similar to this, giving information about investing in mortgages, maybe having people fill out a form and giving some value, and then getting people to contact you for a consultation. So that was capitaldirect.ca. And then Son of a Broker, this is one, it's much more about content. They just give a few tips here, and then you can contact this Christopher. I've seen him around on some of the other websites as well. And then Mortgage Lending Toronto. Basically, I think you've got an affiliate here, Jason, who's doing quite well with the website, and maybe you've got Jim, who's doing quite well, another affiliate or franchisee. And then you've got some other sites that don't really look that good. There's that Christopher person again. And then you've got Rate Hub. So basically, in terms of on-page design, none of them are doing that well. So that's not really something that you need to worry about too much. I think you can definitely compete with some of the setups that these people have, and we can make them even better in terms of interactive marketing, which I'll get to. But the big test is to throw these into tools that analyze the back end, and then you can really get a feel for, hey, is this something worth doing, or what's the time frame, or what are the amount of resources I really need to throw into this to get some results. And the big one, Capital Direct Private Mortgage Investment. So this is capitaldirect.ca, and I'm not going to go into too much detail here, Mike, because it kind of, you can go on and on and on, but basically, just to give a quick overview of what this is, basically this is our main tool that we use. And when you plug in a website here, it tells you all the other websites that are promoting and linking to this particular website or a particular website. And this is really how Google reads websites and ranks them. So if you have the best looking website out there and it gives the greatest information, versus a site that's not so well designed and gives okay information, if everyone is talking about the okay design one, and which has okay information, everyone's talking about that one, everyone's linking to that one, and no one's even mentioned your site or promoted it or linked to it, Google thinks that the site with the okay design and okay information is better. That's the only way to tell Google and to rank on Google, is to have other websites discussing you, talking about you, and linking to you. That's the only way Google knows to rank capitaldirect.ca above, your website. So this is really the tool that tells us the competition and how hard it is. So one thing I like to see is that for this particular page, Private Mortgage Investments, they've only got 6 or 4 other sites that are linking directly and promoting this site right away. So that's a very good sign. When we move over to their main website, their home page, this is where it's a little more competitive, but really not too hard. They've got 170 live websites linking to them. So that's actually a good number. It's one that I expected would have been 1,700, which is when you start to think, you've got a real tough competition. But this is actually a good number. It's 170. It's not too big. It means that this site is not a huge authority in the mortgage and equity loan market, and they're ranking well. So that's a very good sign. And I've basically gone ahead and just quickly brought up all the different websites that we just looked at over here. All these different websites that I just went through, I've basically plugged in to our competition reader, and I'm not going to go through them all, but I really got a good sign that the competition is not too difficult. So here we've got Son of a Broker. Their page that's ranking, number 3 there, I believe, only has one linking website, which is great. And then their main homepage, they've only got live 67 other websites linking to them. So that's a very, very good sign in terms of maybe potentially investing in a website like this. The competition doesn't look too crazy, which is really, really good. And I'm not going to go through everyone, but Mortgage Truth, they've got no links coming to that one page that's ranking very well, which is ideal. That's a great sign. And then their homepage, they've only got 30. So Mortgage Truth, this is this page here. They've only got 30 other websites linking to them. That's a really good sign, and they tend to rank quite well. And one way they're doing that is they do have a lot of good content on their page. So if you sort of go to private mortgage loans, he gives some good information about private mortgage loans, and then there's that call to action. So a really good sign that this website doesn't have a lot of links, meaning that they don't have a lot of advanced SEO, and it's something that we can definitely compete with. And going through the list, I'm not going to go through everyone here. What we really I'll show you a contrast. What you don't want to see is a ton of sites like RateHub. So if we just go back, when we plugged in, here we go, mortgage lending in Toronto, we've got RateHub that comes up number 2. And if we jump over and really look at their site, they've only got 10 or 8 live links to this main page. But if we look at their actual website, look at what we have here, 7,000. So this is a big time website, ratehub.ca. Compare Canadian mortgage rates and whatnot. It's a big, powerful website. But the good news is that in analyzing most of the terms that we want to eventually rank for, I only really found one of these big powerhouse websites. So that's a really good sign. So in terms of overall competition, it's much better than I thought, which is always a good sign. And in terms of setting up the website, getting the design set up, and then setting it up with some really good back-end optimization, I think that for some of these terms that you are interested in going for, it's certainly something that I think is doable. Now, in terms of timeline and resources, it's something that I'm going to have to jump in and analyze a bit better to give you a better information. But one thing I can say is that ranking, it just takes time. If we were to analyze the age of all these websites and how long those pages have been up, I would say that a year is basically the minimum of one of those pages ranking in the top 5. So it's going to take time. You set up a website, you just can't gain that authority and trust in a few months. So basically, this is much more of a long-term sort of setup to set the website up and get some good promotion going on. So in terms of time frame, I can't give you one, but I would say that if you're looking at getting on page 1, number 1 for mortgage investments or private lending mortgages, Top Mortgage Investment Corporation in Toronto, you've got to look long term. I would say over a year at the minimum. So certainly we can always try to get quick results, but to do it safely, to build it up properly, this is more of a long-term project for sure. Now, in terms of some of the work that I've done, and one thing that jumped out at me in terms of looking at some of these websites, Mike, with what people have to offer, what's really working right now that you might be able to spin in with this, and I'm going to just stop after this, not let this video go on too long, but it's interactive marketing. So basically, this is a page, and people come to this and they might click here and go to this next page, and they might call, but they probably won't. A lot of them probably won't. This person, Mortgage Truth, does a bit of a better job. They give some good information, and then normally you got his picture here about Michael, and you fill out a form, you get more information from Mike. So that's interacting a bit, but what we see that's done well is basically that you might be able to do, or you might think about sort of long term, and it just popped into my head looking at this, is to really give some value, some follow up, get people to download some reports that we put together, that you put together, and then interact with them through email and sort of pre-sell a lot of information about mortgages, about investing, about your company, and then you give them that call to action, and they call and they book an appointment, so to speak. So without getting too much detail, because this is a whole other topic, but one website that I'm working on that does quite well in the music niche is this website, Voices Inc. And basically, if you go over to Google and you type in terms like best online guitar lessons, here's our page right here. So we've got the feature snippet there and the number 1 listing. And if you type in best online piano lessons, same thing. We've got this number 1 and this number 2 features. So we got a lot of traffic through these terms. So when people come to the piano or guitar or music lessons, they come here and basically we talk, but there's interactive marketing going on here. There's a free bonus. If you click here, you can download this report, and people download the report and they get follow emails giving information about the guitar, and they get one video, and then the next day they get another video, and so forth. And then at the end, you promote your product. So I've got this new set up through Singing. People come to the Singing website, our Singing page, and they can download this 8 secret singing tips. They click download, fill out their email, and then over the course of a week, 2 weeks, they get this video which explains to them and gives them some information, and they can download the report. And then 2 days later, they get this next video which gives them information about warm-ups. And then they come down here and they can download this other free report. And then the next day they get another free report. And then the 4th day we sell the Singing course. So that's something that you can potentially consider doing. And this is after sort of getting the website set up and whatnot. But just something that popped into my mind with some of these sites that are currently ranking. You can, here we go. You can really take advantage of interactive marketing, getting people to maybe download like a report like, 5 mistakes of lending through mortgage, or 5 mistakes to avoid with mortgage lending. You download, you give some real good value, and then over the course of 3 days, you can set up all these emails and people can learn, get value, information, good tips and tricks and all that kind of stuff. And then you can sort of pitch your investment idea or your investment product. So just something to keep in mind. I think it would really go well with this. You can really position yourself as someone that has great content, great value, and you're offering these information packages that people download, and you get them into an email sequence one day, then day 3 you send the next email and so forth, and it's all automated and it can run on autopilot after you set it up. But it's a real good way to maybe potentially convert some people that are coming to the website. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. And lastly, in terms of design, like I said, we can set these up. These are some landscape design people that I've set up using the Avada theme. So all these websites, look really nice, and they all work on mobile. There's a massage therapist that we've worked with, so we set this website up for them. Everything flows and looks nice. We did an architect here in Naples. So in terms of doing a quick recap here, setting up the actual site is certainly something that we can do and tailor it to the services that you provide, make it look really nice. And then moving forward, analyzing competition is key. And at first glance, it looked quite hard, but really looking at the back end, I think there's some positions that you can really get to and rank well in terms of mortgage lending, but you're always going to have that initial timeline. It takes a lot of time, but it's certainly something that I think is doable after digging in and analyzing the competition. So I hope you found this useful. I know this ran on much longer than I had hoped, but hopefully you can sort of watch this video, and then in our future talks we can sort of be on more of a same page in terms of what you're looking for, and we can discuss maybe some steps moving forward, or what you're really thinking about in terms of website name and so forth. So thanks for watching, and certainly just email me back and we can set up a call. Okay, thanks, Mike.